What's going on, guys? I'm here at the storage unit. You don't know me. You might know me. Past videos. I fix some stuff. I put exhaust on stuff. Just the usual guy. But today is different. A few months ago, I bought a 2000 Pontiac Trans Am. Been thinking about it. I sold my Subaru at that point, and I'm like, you know what? I need a V8 in my life that is not a box, like the one I'm sitting in now. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to start looking for CTSVs, Trans Ams, whatever shows up. So I had about 5,600 at the time. And I was looking, I found a few CTSVs for $5, just dented to shit, rebuilt titles, salvage titles, the typical CTSV you find for half market. And I was looking at Marketplace one day, and I think this was the second one on the top of the list. And it was 2000 Pontiac Trans Am, and I'm like, you know what? Actually, don't look too half bad. So I click on the ad, go through. There's some obvious things, pictured. There's a list of stuff. But for $5,000 at that point in time, this was as soon as like 1 or 2 years after COVID hit, and everything just skyrocketed. Especially used car prices, they're just insane right now. I could honestly, since I bought it for $5,000, and the guy had it up for 54 or 55, and I bought it for $5,000, brought it home. It runs and drives. It does what every vehicle should, But it's a Pontiac. It's a 2000 Pontiac. The GM is just, at that time period, the interior is trashy. Pretty sure it has the same build quality as the 2000 Cavaliers that they're producing. So, less of me talking, and let me just show you. So, this is my car. It's just, yup. So anyway, this is, the 2000 Pontiac Trans Am, probably the ugliest one on Marketplace at the time I was looking. But you know what? For $5,000, I didn't even buy my 2000 WRX for that much. So I can't complain too much. With the hood, ram air hood, I think it's fiberglass, but I'm not sure. You may think with the fiberglass hood and everything that it'd be a WS6, but where am I looking here? Is it in here? I swear to God, I saw it in here somewhere. So it's not a WS6, it's actually a WS9. And what people don't tell you about Trans Ams is that the WS6 is actually one of the most sought after for it, besides a Firehawk. But the WS9 was a Ram Air package for the Formula and the base model. And all it is the hood. I think it came with the Ram Air intake and the lid for the intake. But yeah, it was pretty much just the WS9 was the WS6 just without all the badging, I would say. And it looked like a WS6, but it didn't have the 6. It had the 9 with no badges, no nothing. So it was technically a Formula. I would guess back in the day the insurance would be cheaper, but I don't know. I wasn't even born at that time. So what we have here that I bought with the car, of course, is I think they're Corvette Z06 wheels from the C5. Now the C5 had 9.5s in front and 10.5s in the back, but it looks to me that both of these are 10.5s or 10s or 11s or however it came. And as you can tell, yeah, the wheels, I don't know, I feel like they'd look good with the right size tires, like maybe a bigger tire in the rear and a slightly bigger tire up front. But I actually bought these for the car. Now, not many people besides the BMW community and the Trans Am community or any GM community with the 5x120 bolt pattern, they actually know these wheels as Myro, I think they're Myros, 111s. Now they kind of look like the E92 GTS stock wheels. Now I think this is the 8.5, which I would use up front, and then those two are 9.5s, I believe. I don't know about you guys, but the 9.5s on the rear of the Trans Am, you can only fit like 275s at the most, like to make it look, you know, not shitty. But since I'm stock, I would say that it wouldn't be much of an issue putting down the power, especially with the right tires. Now with my budget at the moment, I plan on buying theoretically burners, but I mean, as long as I get the wheels on the car, as long as I get the shows this year, I feel like it would be fine for the car. I could always test them out once I put them on, take the car out of the storage, break it in a little bit. Actually, I haven't said anything about it, but when I first bought this car, it was in November, like the first few days of November. And I live in Wisconsin, so the car obviously wasn't the best for the weather. Luckily for me, it hasn't snowed anything. There wasn't salt on the roads at that time, or if there was, there'd be very minimum. So I got the car back and I threw it in storage right away. I didn't really get to drive it. I think I put it was a 200-mile ride home, and I think about 250 to 275 miles on it before I stored it, which wasn't really much, but I didn't want to drive the car much at that time because the tires on it right at the time, as are on it right now, they're obviously dry rotted and they just became flat sitting here, so I didn't want to drive too much on them. Now the interior, oops, I haven't sat in this car forever. So the interior is what you expect, you know, like cracked door panels, cracked dash, you know, every single thing you think of as a 2000s GM, like that still works, which is surprising to me. Gauge cluster looks good. I mean, nothing breaks so far. Stock stereo, which I plan to replace pretty soon because it doesn't exactly work the best. Now the shifter is a Hurst shifter, I believe. It's very tight. It's very nice. The guy put an aftermarket knob on it, which I don't mind too much. I might change it to like the C6 fucking knob in the boot. Now here's another funny part about GM interiors. So I bought the car, right? And I was turned too quick going left, and this thing just fucking flew up open and scared the shit out of me. Plus, it didn't help when one of my friends was riding in here and I was getting gas. Like, I think it was the second day I had it. Dude just sitting in here fucking tearing it off and shit. It was all one piece, but obviously it's not now. I plan to replace this too, but it's hard to find a not expensive copy. Back seats, not operational. T-tops, not cracked. Rear end, looking good. All you guys saw pretty much around the car. I'll show you the engine bay. You know, a lot of you probably want to see the engine bay, and then I'll show you the reason why I got it for $5,000. Oh, very nice hood opener, I'll be honest. I miss vehicles that were that simple. So here's the motor, pretty dirty, came from Texas, drove all the way up here in Minnesota, stayed for a bit, and then I bought it and brought it to Wisconsin. So no rust, no nothing. Besides, you know, being dirty for a 140,000 mile vehicle. It's got the SOP ram air lid. I would guess it's got the SOP filter. If SOP doesn't make a filter, because I didn't do much research on it, I would guess it'd be K&N or something of the other. It's got some type of headers. I'm not exactly sure what type of headers it is, but they look fucking good and they sound good. It's got some type of exhaust on it. Once again, I'm not sure exactly. Anyway, but it looks good, sounds good. It's even got a type of pipe. I don't know where it is. There it is. Where you can just take that off and it'll bypass the muffler. Now to show off the reason why I got it so cheap. I won't necessarily say it's showing off, but you can probably guess why. Yeah, I was told that a guy could have probably backed into it. The guy didn't say necessarily what happened to it, but all I know is that I gotta fix that. Here in Wisconsin, this is a very rare sight, seeing the underside still silver and not brown or rusted or rotted. It's very nice, actually. It's got a few leaks. I was told the power steering, it's either the rack or one of the lines is leaking. Looking right here, it looks kind of like the rack is leaking. So I'll probably bring it to a shop because I heard the rack is somewhat difficult to take out. And of course, from sitting over there, it looks like it may have an oil leak, but I'm also not sure on that either. I'll have to check that out once I get it out of storage. The bracket for the headlight, of course, very broken. The guy said it just ripped off at high speeds, which I don't think that's, they're designed not to do that. So I would guess that I just buy a new bracket, call good. I guess now I gotta do something I meant to do. I actually came here to put on the plates that I just registered it a few months after I bought it, because why would I register a car I'm gonna store for 6 months? Handy dandy toolbox from Walmart, getting the job done as always. I wonder what's behind this plate. Oh, getting that second plate off. I believe that tinted cover will look good. I'm not sure if it's fully legal, but it complements the car nicely in these sexy ass taillights. Believe it or not, this car actually came with one of those, but it's black, so I haven't got a chance to put it on. Plus with the bracket, I don't want the chance of losing a $50 part again. And as for right here, I got the cover in the back of the car. It's actually white, so it'll be nice when I clean that up, fully detail the car, and put that on. So as of right now, I probably won't be making many videos because I just gotta do a lot of shop stuff with the car that I personally cannot do, like getting the tires mounted and such. But of course, when the time comes, I'll definitely put more videos of the car out there. I definitely plan to record the, I would say, somewhat of a restoration of the vehicle. Yeah, there's some plans I have planned right before fall with it, so hopefully I get a majority of it done by then. As of now, we say bye-bye. Goodbye! As always, I'll catch you guys later. Of course, when I get videos out there, I'll be sure to post about putting Trans Am groups, maybe some local car groups, see if anyone laughs at me. I mean, nothing like documenting your first car restoration. It would be a big step for me, but I gotta start going, so of course I'll catch you guys later.